Hi, I'm Vanessa Branch, and this is my leading video for EDLD 5398, Section A08, Fall 2016. The activity I chose was to gather a focus group of at least 4 people to discuss the importance of professional development and how it impacts teachers and growth and what they have learned from it. I met with my campus mentor, and we decided that we wanted to focus on technology. We have implemented a lot of different technology programs on our campus, including one where teachers put in information regarding their level of comfort, and the program then analyzes them to determine whether or not they need to work on specific areas. Another area that was a big focus for our school this year has been social media. Our principal requires us to each tweet at least 3 to 5 times every week, and then she retweets them, which also load to our school webpage. I gathered 4 teachers that represent different areas of our school. I had a 1st grade teacher, a 3rd grade teacher, a 5th grade teacher, so that's from the low, middle, and higher end of our school. And then I also chose an SSI teacher, which she is the intervention teacher who works with all grade levels. We met for probably a little over an hour, and we had an agenda that was we would gather together, our introductions. I stated the purpose of our meeting and kind of gave our timeline. I had some questions that I had ready to go, and then we kind of wrapped up, and I passed out a questionnaire survey for them to fill out at the end. We didn't need any other materials other than the survey and something to write with, which we did. And assessing the effectiveness or the importance of what we have been asked to do with social media was actually our primary focus. We kind of started out talking about just in general the technology that we use on our campus and how we felt about it, and the expectations of using it as far as a faculty member, and then also as using it with students in our classroom. And we quickly got on the topic of social media, and that really kind of hit home and sparked a lot of good conversation. We talked about different kinds of social media that we use at school. We have done Edmodo, we have done Facebook groups, we have done obviously Twitter, but we have not done Instagram, and that was one of the things that was kind of a hot button when we got to talking about. They were pretty clear on that they disliked the Twitter that we used, and so we went into more questions about that. I wanted to know, why were they resistant to it? Is it just because they're required to tweet, or is it because they don't like it for some reason? So we talked about that. We also talked about the safety concerns and the privacy parameters that you can set for Twitter. And then we talked about, well, if we don't like Twitter and that's not something that we want to use, what are we going to use? So we talked about another option to use in place of Twitter, and then why we would like that better. And then also I made some notes because later on, I met with our campus principal, and she was very surprised at some of the information that I was able to share with her from our focus group. For time management, I did keep checking the iPad because I only taped in about 10-minute segments in order to be able to upload them all. So we kept track with that. And then also, since this was after the school day, of course, everyone's checking their time in order to leave and get home to their families. We did this very informally. It was a group of us sitting around a table, starting off slow with the topics, and then as we really got into the meat of what we were discussing, you can really tell that the participants were having a good time and felt that their opinion was being heard and that they were contributing really great thoughts and ideas. So that's where we'll stop. Okay, thank you guys for joining me for our focus group on professional development. With me, I have a 3rd grade teacher, a 1st grade teacher, a 5th grade teacher, and then an SSI teacher, which is intervention. So we have a cross section of our campus represented. Our agenda for tonight is to talk about our technology professional development that we've started implementing last year, and then how we've moved through that, and then how the impact it's had on our campus and what our thoughts are on that. And then we will go over some of our guiding questions, conclude, and then we'll wrap up with the survey. Okay, so we started off last year with a technology kind of, I don't know, what was that called? It was a
boot camp.
Kind of. No, what was the survey that we did, like, that told us what kind of technology that we needed? That we
Amplify.
Yeah.
The learning map.
The learning map.
But that told us professionally what we needed to work on through technology, right?
Yes.
So what were some of our results?
I needed to work on assessment. Use using the technology to assess, but then to track it.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I don't know the right words.
Okay. Or what do you feel like you need as a professional to increase for your technology use in your classrooms?
For me, since I deal with data and lots of lesson planning, I'd probably be more beneficial to have more training in those areas on how to interpret it and provide the best lesson plans possible for Tier 2, Tier 3 learners.
That's the word, interpret, that I was looking for, interpret.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably what I find most beneficial for me.
Okay. How do our students in your classroom typically use your classroom computers or iPads, the technology that you have in the room?
Our kids use them a lot to type assignments for Miss Kendall for writing. And they do a lot of science on there. There's science textbooks.
Their textbooks are all online for social.
For science, they're all
science,
online.
yeah.
We use it also for iStation and I think through math. And
Yes.
in 3rd grade, that's what we're mostly using it for.
And iStation is a reading intervention, and Think Through Math is a math one.
Yep.
Okay. At the lower level, do you guys use them pretty consistently for those purposes, or is it more for producing student work, or is it
For technology in general. We use it for assessment purposes with iStation, and we don't use Think Through Math, but we use Prodigy. And then Tumble Books.
Oh, yeah.
We use it for listening to reading. I know some of the 1st grade teachers have tried to get the students to practice typing, like sight words, because that is one of our TEKs, is for them to be able to open and close a Word document and type some letters. But that's we're still super in the
So you're integrating your technology TEKs with your actual English language arts TEKs so that you can kind of hit 2 birds with 1 stone. That's really good.
Then you guys go to the keyboarding, right? Is that like
Everybody does, right?
We go to
once a month?
keyboarding,
Once a
yeah.
month? Classroom teachers,
No,
yeah.
1st grade goes once a week.
Oh, do you really? We go once a month.
We go once a week.
Depends on the grade level.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's where they're learning to log on, open documents.
they do the typing mat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that what it's called,
Typing.
typing mat?
Okay. Cool. Let's talk about the relationship as we see it between technology and our curriculum. For example, how integral are technology tools for us and our students in mastering curriculum objectives? Like you just said that yours, you kind of are, you're doing your technology TEKS in with your other ones. So are the grade levels doing that as well? Are we using it to hit both sets of TEKS, or are we just using it as a tool to hit our TEKS in our specific subject areas, I guess?
And I know in math, they used it for the TEK where they have to do a graph online.
Okay.
So they used the Google Docs to create a graph, and it was when they were doing graphs, so it lined up with their math TEKS. And then for writing, we haven't had them produce one yet, but they will at some point this year have they have to type one of their assignments for that, but.
And I know that our technology team kind of developed a campus map for like what they wanted what they felt like was achievable for like our lower level and what their skills should be, and then on up, so that would help. And then they also kind of looked at the TEKS and tried to figure out ways and examples that everybody could hit in their specific grade levels. And then we did the technology boot camp at the beginning of this year. How do you feel like that went? Was it
That
worth
was
it?
good. Yeah.
Yes,
I think it was
beneficial
really
for sure.
beneficial.
I mean, a
It
few
was
things
good.
we've had to go back and reteach as we've gone through, but I think it definitely helped us get a good start.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it was first grade.
No?
A lot of the stuff was a little bit over their head.
Okay.
It was like the whole like cyber awareness
Well,
and how to be cyber safe.
So were the
They didn't
I thought they
understand
had
it at all.
different.
It was the same for all
Oh.
grades, so it was.
So maybe next year,
Then I can
K through two
definitely
should
see
do
that
something
being
a little
over
bit
their
different.
It should
Yeah.
be a little bit more
Like
appropriate
I think
for their
they
age.
still need to know about that, but maybe just
Bring it down,
Bring
you
it
know,
down.
for them
Oh, I
because
didn't realize
they're not
that.
on Facebook
Right.
and they're not,
Right.
you know, on
Instagram.
Instagram
Yeah.
and blogs and stuff, but they do know, they should know to be safe when they go play their
Right.
like online games and stuff.
Yeah.
not to go
Right,
gaming
right,
and
right.
things
well,
like
that's a
that.
great suggestion that we can provide them. Let's write that down. Write that down.
I didn't realize something different for each.
Well, and then the one that was in the computer lab was too long, because it was about getting signed in, but then it was about finding a printer, and then we didn't get to the second part of it, but they were supposed to do something with Google too.
Right.
So that
we
would be a
didn't,
good
we
one
didn't
to
finish
split
it
into
either.
two
Our
sessions.
kids didn't finish
Yeah.
it either. They didn't get all the way through either.
And you know, as a campus, we all do, 5 tweets per week? So there's a lot of technology going on there, and then the little guys see the
Do we do
Twitter.
5 tweets?
Is it 5?
3
a
to
week?
5?
Okay, I was gonna say I do 3.
Okay,
It might be
I want
3.
to be fired.
3 to 5. But if it is
If I
5, I will
three
kick
is-
it up a notch.
I've done 3 to 9 weeks.
I'm about
Okay.
to say, I think I've done 3 assignments.
Okay, maybe,
That's
Okay.
hard to keep up with.
it is.
And I mean,
I'll come down and tweet your room.
Okay, let's talk about that. So that's a requirement of us as a campus. Our teachers are required to send a school-wide tweet that to some parents if they've decided to follow us, but at least our principal gets it and then we'll retweet it and PTA retweets it so that they're getting what's going on inside our classroom is being shared with the community. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know it's a hassle to actually have to remember to do that.
I don't like that it's Twitter because you can't choose who follows you. There's
Right.
no privacy at all.
yeah,
And then our kids are being plastered all over
all
the
over the
place.
place.
Well, there is a setting, but are we not able to enable that because it should be all parents or?
I don't know.
I,
Because-
pref-
but even my private one, I
I
don't
really
use
wish
for
we
that
would switch
reason,
over
'cause-
to like an Instagram
Yeah.
type deal because my nieces, their school does Instagram. They only do Instagram.
It's
And
so much safer.
it's so much safer, so much easier. I mean, you can just
Why do you think
scroll-
it's safer?
Because you get to choose
You can
who.
choose who's
Like
who
you
follows.
have a few people that have access to approving people.
But I think that's also on Twitter. Like I have my privacy account settings high enough that like
But
it
see,
says
we can't have that, or else she couldn't or else
Or
she
they
Oh, because she
can't
retweet it.
She can't retweet it.
Because there's random people who
I've
Oh,
got
yeah.
some really
retweet
random
or,
people
or
who follow
follow me.
or who like something and
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe
And
you're
I don't
a
get
cousin
notified.
of one of my kids.
I don't get
know.
asked.
I
Like
think
if someone starts following me, they
I
don't
gotcha.
ask me first.
They
It
just
just tells
follow
me they
you.
started to follow
Because
me,
you
and
have
I
to make
can't
it
let
public.
them.
in
And
order
once
for
they
them
follow
to-
you, they're following you until they unfollow you because you can't
Stop.
block them.
So if we switch
Right.
to Instagram, you can choose who follows you, and
And
so
you can block people.
so if our principal is following us, she can retweet it.
Right. Now that's
No,
the
you
way-
Or I mean,
share
re-
it.
re-
She
oh,
would
share
have-
it,
Well,
whatever.
she would have to share it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just like so.
So she'd
My
have to
niece's
go into
school
our
is
website.
Monrovia Middle School. It's
She
one
would just
account.
like the share it like there's a spot like you shouldn't have to go into our account to share it. She
No,
can
we
just
would
share it
just
from
share-
her.
Share it from
Yeah.
hers.
You can share on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, share like
Share
to
like-
Twitter
like
or
a-
something.
No, like
No,
if I'm only friends with Miss Sudler, I'm only following her,
Right.
and I've posted a picture, but she has lots of followers, she could share my picture to her followers.
Gotcha.
if I have permission.
Right.
You have to have permission.
Well, that would be better, I think.
I like it.
I wonder if that's even been brought up, though.
I
I
don't
bet
know.
it hasn't. I bet it's not even been discussed, so that's
But
a
I
good...
love it
Well, I have to look
because
into
they
settings,
post
But it's also
like-
just
when
in case
people
that's-
when people are posting pictures all the time, are they checking to see if those are kids who are allowed to be on?
Really?
I have to do it in increments. Okay.
Why?
It's too much if you do it all at once.
No.
So I do.
Okay,
So it stops for a minute.
Just kidding.
No, it's back. It's going.
Okay.
We're back
Are we?
on?
Yes. I didn't hit stop start.
so I don't know what I was saying.
Sorry.
Are
I'm
we
gonna show you-
checking?
Oh, are we checking before we're posting all
see,
these tweets
that's
every week
their-
to make sure those are kids that are allowed to be posted?
That's their page.
Do we
and
have a
they
list
post-
of our kids who can't?
Well, I
be?
think
Maybe
that's
they
why
post
the
things like
guideline
a
was
food
to kind of
drive.
like take a picture from
Yeah, that's
like
what
above
I do.
or behind so that you don't see faces.
Oh, see, I didn't
Yeah.
even know that.
Or I just take a picture, like if they're doing this
Perfect.
game, just
Yeah.
their
They
hands.
can post
you
things
know.
like canned food drive,
Yeah.
ACO,
No, that's really good.
and it's just more visual. Like
Well,
I'm
and
just
I-
a visual person.
I
wanna
don't
see a
have, like,
picture.
I post, and then the only people seeing it are my teacher friends who follow me. Because I only have like 10 parents who follow me, and half of them are from last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Oh, I didn't
people
even
aren't
think
following
about that.
me.
You still have parents from years prior.
Yeah.
Unless
So-
they
But the fact
unfollow
that they
you.
they put it on the the web page, and that's where a lot of parents have said to me, "Oh,
That's
I
a
saw
good,
what
yeah,
you did."
they'll see it
Because
on the
when
web
Story
page.
retweets it, then everybody sees it because it's on the web page.
So if she's gonna, if that's where people
That's
see
what
it
it-
most of the time anyway,
it's on the web page.
she might as well
Just do it
set
on the
up her own-
webpage and not do it
Yeah.
Twitter.
Instagram.
Or just post like.
But I think that's a very valid point, is
Susie.
to talk about the safety of that and the following
Mhm.
and the lack of control you have in Twitter versus Instagram. And like if you said, if she has one main account, then parents can follow that one, and she just retweets what you guys do, and parents don't have to follow you personally.
Right.
Yeah. Well, even with the hashtags, I've realized to be a little more careful with my
Yes.
Twitter because, you know.
Even if you make up your own crazy hashtag, who knows who
Who
else
knows?
did that?
I mean, and,
That's
you
true.
know,
Well, if they
somebody
click on it, what
type
they're
in it,
gonna
or they
find.
click on it, or what else they're gonna find, or you know, you just
Yeah.
there's no telling what else is gonna come up. So definitely
Mhm.
trying to be more
That's
aware
awesome.
of that.
Okay.
And a lot of schools have their own Facebook page instead of using Twitter.
Oh yeah, yeah, I love that.
Huh.
Yeah. And
It-
you have
It's
to.
private.
It's yes, because like if you go to like there's a lot of PTA ones, and you click on, you have to go to student administrator to be accepted to the group. Well, and on Facebook, you don't have some weird handle name.
Right,
Right.
it's
a
your
person
name.
in a picture, so they can tell if it's a parent or you know somebody who.
Now my niece's preschool has a Facebook page, and my cousin was able to send me an invite because she's
Mhm.
a parent.
Mhm.
I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah,
Like
like
she accepted me.
whoever is it's like, okay, so
Oh, so what if the parents are all
it's
the
member.
it's a group, so
Yes.
they set up a group, so whoever is a member
See,
of the
that's
group
safe,
could
yeah.
invite other people to
So
the
they can
group.
invite grandparents
So
and
what we could do is at the beginning of the year when we set up a Facebook page for Story Elementary, they could send it to all of the parents
right.
in an invite and they could accept it.
Well, and everybody who's already a member sees the person that's wanting to
see it.
join.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then any of them could
And,
add
yeah,
them.
so like if Nicole wanted to join the group and no one else in the group knew Nicole but I did, I could see her name and accept her.
Accept, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that's how all of our like little party things on Facebook
I was about
are.
to say, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Or the online garage sales and things like that.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
My online garage sales.
Yeah.
That's where I get all my knowledge.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of something.
But I think either of those is safer than
Yeah.
A little
Twitter.
more secure.
I don't like, and I hear Twitter's going down the tubes anyway. They're like way in debt, and they're not making like they're losing followers like
Probably because
daily.
they only have
And
so many characters.
Probably because nobody knows how to work it. I can't.
And that's
figure
another
it
thing.
out.
I know.
I don't like it.
Trent uses his for like it's a personal account, but he doesn't follow people. He follows like bloggers and sports
Right,
people.
right.
And it's his news.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like it for like people interaction.
Right.
Is Trent like your son?
My husband.
Oh, okay. I was like,
No, Cole's not into sports.
okay. I was like, what?
No, he doesn't have Twitter anyway.
Okay.
So the capabilities of Instagram, is there like a limit on how many characters you can type?
No.
So that's another added bonus that you wouldn't get with Twitter.
I could actually explain what we were doing.
And you have filters.
That's true.
That's important.
Picture filters?
Yeah, that's important. Sometimes
Yes.
I want it to be in black and white.
Yeah.
Okay, so use of filters and no limit.
And I think parents are more familiar with Instagram and Facebook than Twitter.
I said,
Anyway,
yeah,
I think
and
Twitter is
those-
uncomfortable for people
And
who
people,
aren't.
I don't know a lot of people, like you said, that go where Twitter is their go-to. Everybody
Yeah.
goes, Instagram, Facebook.
Palmer's
Yeah.
Twitter. She's a Twitter.
Who?
Really?
Amber Palmer.
Oh.
Our diagnostician.
Yeah.
She's, yeah.
What?
Maybe
Oh,
she could
tell
teach,
the folks at
maybe
home.
she could do a workshop for
Yeah.
just how to do it.
But that's like, but she uses it for news.
Yeah.
But she doesn't do Facebook. She
She
uses
doesn't
that.
do Facebook. And I find people who do Twitter are, they are all about Twitter and not much of anything else.
Maybe
Either
maybe
love
it
it
kind
or
of
you
categorizes
don't.
people. Are you like more of a solitary, this is my feed, this is what I'm looking at, versus that Facebook feed is more
That's more personal.
You know when I
interaction.
use
yes.
Twitter? When I would get on to follow during a debate or during a sporting event
Right.
or during something big that
When I want to know
trials.
why there's
I
a
would-
lockdown at Lowry.
when there's
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
You
that.
guys heard about that,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yes, because Cole didn't
Yesterday?
get dismissed for a half hour
Oh.
after. Yes. But anyway,
Or if there's a Twitter
I'll
war.
do it again.
I always get interested in Twitter if there's a Twitter fight. Yeah.
I got on Twitter, like if it's like something that's breaking news, like the Gatlinburg fire. I think our hotel where we had our reception, we got married.
Oh no!
burned
When
down.
was the Gatlinburg?
What, right now? They've lost like 70 structures.
Oh, because of Tennessee.
In
Gatlinburg,
Gatlinburg?
the song, Gatlinburg. Oh.
That's where we got married.
No.
Anyway.
Did you really? I used to go to
They lost
Gatlinburg
it.
every.
But that's when I get on
Very
Twitter.
pretty out
is
there,
to
isn't it?
follow that hashtag
Yeah.
and see what's happening.
Yeah.
The latest
So that's
updates,
why,
when there's
yes.
tornadoes, that kind of thing.
Yes. Well, when, like the missing person,
Yes.
I looked at that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Who's missing?
Susan.
Zuzu, Stephanie Clark.
Yes. Yes. I thought you were meant a child.
No. Okay, so since we're on the topic of social media, let's go with that. How are your kids using it? Like you said, your kids really aren't using it independently.
No.
Are
I'm
there?
I'm sure that they see their parents using it and maybe older siblings and know about it. But I don't think any of them are personally
Like my
using
kids,
it.
my personal kindergartners, they are very familiar with YouTube, and they will tell me, "Mom, record this
yes.
and put
Put
me
it
on
on
the internet, put me on the YouTube."
They know a lot about YouTube because I
Yes.
think they watch a lot of
Uh-huh.
shows on YouTube
Yeah,
since cable is kind of going out.
Yeah.
And I think that they also, have you seen there's a lot of like kid blogs on
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
YouTube
yeah.
where it's
they
like
open
kids
toys and they talk. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And cooking.
Family ones.
Cooking.
and
Yeah.
family ones
Yes.
and stuff. And I think that they watch those and they like to watch, yeah, like
Yes.
how to beat this game and
Yes.
how to
Yes.
do this
Yeah.
in
That's what
Legos.
my personal
Yes.
children
They-
do.
They go to YouTube for
They
everything.
like
Mine have
it's
started
almost like
watching-
their Google.
Kids,
Yes.
or these, I guess they're more like teenagers that play Pokemon Go.
Mhm.
They have caught all these crazy things that we don't have around here. They want
Yeah.
to look at that. So it's their like you said, it's their access to, it's their Google.
But
Because
they're not independent
they're visual.
readers. Yeah, they're not independent readers, so they need something that's going to speak to them.
Yeah.
So they use YouTube a lot.
And there's no interaction with other people on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a social media thing. I mean, you can see a lot and you can search for things, but it's not something where you have to worry about
And
them
we-
being like messaged by someone or.
And you just have to be careful with the comments.
Yeah, the
But
comments.
if they're not independent readers,
Then it doesn't matter.
and we use a lot of YouTube in class, like
Yes.
to find read alouds or to look up something, but I don't do it on YouTube. I put it into you taught me that, to put it into
YouTube.
Viewport.
Yep.
So there's no
I just haven't done that.
ads.
Yeah.
Because the ads are like,
Yes.
Or anything that pops
Yes.
up. It's
Do you know what happened to me? Dictionary.com.
oh, it wasn't
class.
it wasn't a
And
dictionary.
it was an ad, and it was a woman in a red bra, lacy bra, and she was like, I mean, she was a still picture, but it was all boob. And one of my boys went, and I'm just gonna hyperventilate. I was like, oh my goodness. So then I went back in to the kids dictionary, same ad.
no.
So then somebody told me about the View Pure, so I started doing that. But
I actually get nervous though, speaking of ads, and then when we talk about keyboarding, the keyboarding website that we use has ads on
All
the
on
side,
the side.
all on the side. And sometimes they are
Not
appropriate, and sometimes they
Why
are
do
borderline.
why do people who work that, like, I want to know who approves the ads that go on those pages?
I think whoever
Whoever
will
pays.
pay. Whoever's going to pay
Whoever
them.
pays
they'll
them.
take
They
it.
gotta know those are
Yeah.
being used by schools.
I
So,
don't think they care.
but then that begs the question, we need to talk about that with our principal and our administration
Because
about
maybe we need to buy a
a
keyboarding
license
program
for our campus
that doesn't
because
have ads.
if I were a parent and my kid comes home and
Appropriate
says,
for first grade.
Right.
I saw boobies on my typing program today, I have a problem with that.
All
Yes.
of these things.
So, yeah.
Well,
I didn't get any emails, so.
today I
But-
did a video and I put it in a view pure, and one of the kids said, he goes, why do you always do that? Why do you always take it from YouTube and put it into view pure? And I said, well, because, he goes, all the videos you show us are appropriate. And I said, well, no, it's the ads and the things that come up after.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, he said, oh, I'd never thought about that. You are so smart. He's like, you are so smart.
That's
I
why my
don't
name's
even
above her.
know that they see things the way we, like to them.
They're
they don't.
desensitized.
They're completely desensitized to
But if
that.
they
think
see it
about
at
that.
school,
Because
they know they're not supposed to see it. when
are
see
they
it yet.
desensitized or do they just not notice? Because I
I'm not
watched
sure.
a movie recently that I watched as a kid and I thought, I can't believe my parents let me watch that.
Right.
But at the time, it probably
Maybe
like,
it's your
I
comprehension of what it
Yeah.
is.
Exactly.
Right.
I probably didn't
I
even
feel the same
notice
way
some
with
of that
some movies,
inappropriate
yeah.
stuff.
But like the picture of the bra ad or whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a very visual hello. That's
Yes.
not supposed to be at school.
Yeah.
But as far as like comments, you'd have to like
Yeah.
really kind of look at those
Right.
or, suggested based on what you've shown, you might like this.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, okay, so they see pictures of women in their bras and stuff, that they watch TV, they see it, but at home,
But who watches live TV anymore, though? Do they see it?
I
Well,
probably,
they saw it in my
think-
room last year. They saw
Yeah.
the Bad Grandpa commercial.
Well, I think at home they probably see things on the internet or whatever, ads and commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
We've all seen Victoria's Secret's ads and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
That's true.
You
especially
can't really
during
watch
football.
anything like
And at
that.
home, it's not.
I
I don't think they're like, oh, I'm not supposed to see that. I think it's just. But if
No.
they're
If
in
they
this
know at
setting,
school, it's a different
they
environment.
know
Yeah.
it's not
Set of
school
standards.
appropriate, and it becomes a way bigger deal than.
Yeah.
So they have to be super hyper vigilant.
Yeah, make sure you turn, if you watch TV on a PD day, make sure you turn it back for announcements.
I would never watch TV on
I watched it.
on a professional
And
development
The
day.
next day when I turned the announcements on, it was on like the Today Show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I stepped out of the room to talk to Mitchell and came back in and my kids were like, and I'm like,
No, there was
what?
there was
Bad
one
grandpa.
day at the
I don't know what
beginning.
it is. I don't know what it is.
It
No.
was the movie about with Zac Efron and
Oh.
his of all things,
Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa, something like
This
that.
is way worse. That happened to me, only I didn't turn it to whatever. It was like my thing had somehow gotten turned
About
to
10
the wrong thing. And the announcements wouldn't come on, and it wouldn't let me switch it. And it was the news. And it was like a live viewing of a police chase, and this man gets out of his car, and they gun him down.
Is it this year?
Was it
This year! It was like my third day of being a teacher ever.
What did you say?
I was like, oh, that's a weird show, and like just kept pressing it. I turned it off. We didn't watch the announcements that day.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
I was sure I was getting fired.
Okay, so the older grades, how much, I mean, you have kind of a middle age group. I'm pretty sure a lot of your kids are on social media galore, even though you're supposed to be 13 and yours are not.
Yes, Musically is the big thing.
Musically.
Musically is the
And Instagram.
and Instagram.
What is Musically exactly for the kids at home?
Okay, Musically is they can pick a song and then they kind of lip sync to it or dance to it, and they video themselves,
Right.
Creating a dance.
Selfie
whatever.
video kind of thing.
And
I've never heard of it.
Riley's is where she has to approve who wants to follow her, and she can make as many videos as she wants, but she's not allowed to post more than one in a day. And
Is that your rule or their
that's
rule?
my rule.
I
Okay.
didn't know you could put that in place. I
You
need to
can't.
change
That's
that.
my rule for her.
Oh, like your verbal rule.
My verbal.
Gotcha.
Now
Okay.
I put in the place where she can't let other people follow her without permission.
Okay. Okay.
But and then she can make as many as she wants. And
So are
she
you the
only-
account administrator?
I have access.
Okay.
I mean, and she has to come to me if it's somebody like she has to show me who's asking her to be her friend or whatever, so I can see who it is. And I did the same thing with her Instagram too. But she can make as many videos as she wants and store them, and she's the only one who can see them until she publishes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have to watch the video first before she publishes it?
Oh, look at she's.
You just
I was about to say I can't. I hope you don't have to.
Is it limited to how long it can be?
It's a length of a
It's
song.
the length of a song, and it's
It's
not
whatever
a
you
full
choose.
song.
Yeah,
They've cut
it's a
it
clip.
down. It's a clip of a song.
Yeah.
And then you can do songs. You can do little skits. Like Alicia could do a part of a song at her house, and I could do a part of a song at my house, and we could combine them together and
Yeah.
do a duo.
Oh.
How cool would it be to be like Reader's Theater
Mm-hmm.
or talk about analyzing lyrics or something?
Nobody does that on Musically.
To use it in the classroom.
I mean, currently, that is nothing I have
Use it
found
memory.
on
Use it
Musically.
memory.
You
It would be hard to stretch it, but it could be like a fun thing.
But then you would have to create a
Somehow-
music account.
You'd have
Right.
to somehow connect
And
it.
apparently that's
But
because I told my
it
kids I was
seems
going to
to be
create a
an
Musically
audience.
account and ask them to follow me, and they were all like,
No.
And I
It-
think
it-
I'm the cool one, so
it
they're
kinda-
not going to follow me.
it
You
seems-
can make videos of
They're not
Lucy
going to follow
lip sync.
anybody. Oh,
seems
Lucy
to
did a
be
lot of rookies.
where people go that aren't allowed to be on Facebook or Twitter or
Yeah.
whatever yet.
Okay,
Like,
so the
that's
younger,
what the younger,
tween.
yeah. Like I would say, I don't think my
Preteen.
third graders.
No, I think it's
About fifth, sixth
Yeah, about
grade.
fifth, sixth
Probably.
grade.
That's
Yeah.
when
But
I
it's
was.
amazing
my
to
kids.
see these kids on Musically. Like the kid that's sitting in class that won't say a word, and I'm like, do you, bless your heart, do you even know how to speak?
All right, so along the lines of social media, we're going to talk about using blogs in your classroom, and then let's talk about what was the? I just went blank.
Google
No.
Google Classroom.
Not Facebook, but it's what is it?
Instagram.
No. It's the one that
Twitter?
like mimics Facebook, but it's for the
Musically?
kids.
Musically?
No.
Class
it's
Dojo.
Dojo.
Edmodo. Thank you.
I'm
Like
You win.
Yeah. Edmodo.
Class
Okay.
Dojo.
Because there for a while, blogs were being pushed, and then Edmodo was being pushed.
I like the Class Dojo.
do you like Class Dojo?
Let's
I
talk
love
about Class
Class
Dojo.
Dojo. Do you use it, or you like it as a parent?
As a parent,
Yeah.
I get on. I mean, when I get a notification that a picture's been posted or assignment, whatever, I get on and look.
I really like Class Dojo. To me, it's like,
So explain it to us.
so each, you set up your classes. Each one of the kids have a little monster icon. You set up
There's
the
commenting guidelines.
yeah. You set up the skills that you want them, turn in homework, on task, participating, and they get a point every time they're doing it. And you can take away
It's a
points.
classroom management.
It's a classroom management tool. But what they've done is now they've added class stories, so it's like a Twitter feed or Instagram feed,
And
so
it
I can
kinda
post
looks like
pictures. It looks
Instagram.
like Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So I can post we can post pictures, we can send messages to parents, like,
Don't forget.
don't forget such and such
vocabulary
as
night is due
right,
Friday.
due Friday. You can send messages, and it's instant. As soon as I do it, it sends the parents a notification that I've posted something.
So how many of your parents were following you?
A lot.
Did you have to send something out, say, hey, follow
Yeah,
me?
we had to actually, and this is what cracks me up.
Yeah, that's
Is
kind
it
of
was
cool.
it was harder to
It
get
looks like
on
fifth grade does it.
like Twitter. You get on and you start following. This you actually had to go to a website.
You had to go to a
had to
website.
type in a code.
I had to
you
get,
had to,
yeah.
But yet they've got all these people following them for that, and they can't get them
We
to
had
follow
to give you a
on Twitter.
code, yeah, so, and all of 5th grade does it,
They sent
so
home.
that's how.
They sent them a letter at the beginning of the year. It explained what it was, what they're going to be using it for, and it gave us a code. And do we each have a personal code?
Everybody
That's
has a
on our
personal
child.
code.
And you go into the website, and when you get the app, and then you put that code in, and it automatically plugs me into all of Riley's classes and teachers, and I get notifications when she earns points.
So as a parent, you can see it on the app, but as a teacher, you had to go in and set it up on the computer?
No, I went in as a teacher and set it up on the computer.
Right.
So my first hour has 60% of the
And look,
parents,
and
second
I
has
can
80%.
invite another parent. Like
Yeah.
Trent's not on here, so I could go invite him now that I am on.
I invited my
Okay.
mom.
It's kind of
my
like
mom
Riley.
did that.
It's kind of like the app that they use for Riley. Or
Now, are the kids
college
able to
student.
post or just the teachers?
The kids cannot post, but what they can do is they can log on and they can see the points that they've gotten. They can change their monster. Some of the kids change it like every day. Like they,
So they earn points?
they earn points.
And
Yeah.
that's what class
And it's
Dojo.
on my phone. It's Class Dojo. I put it on my phone. I put it on the
So
computer.
this is a message from her. So her messages show up. They look like text messages. But if you go to the actual page, it's set up like it's called Stories, and it's like Instagram. I wonder if Instagram owns this.
I don't know, but it's similar.
But you can put it up on the board, so the whole class is up there, and you can award
Yeah.
points and stuff.
I knew about using it as like a reward
because we did it
system.
last year
Yeah.
as a whole class. This
And-
year I broke it down as to individual students.
Well, and 1st grade was talking and planning of implementing this, like Class Dojo, in the 2nd semester as a reward system instead of our classroom pennies so much.
I think they would like it because
My kids love it. Now, the
Oh,
only
they
thing
love
I
it.
will tell you,
Mhm.
like, you have to be very committed to
Posting.
posting and
Getting the
doing it and rewarding them for it. One of my
And
kids,
you're the best.
one of the kids told me today, you're the only one that cares about Class Dojo.
Well, no, poor Olsen hasn't done it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I have it posted. I have it up when they,
How
I
does
have it
it
up when
work?
they walk in, and
Okay.
if they do something, I've taught them how to go give yourself a point. They know how to give themselves a point. You can take attendance with it. You can put groups together. Sometimes I'll just randomly say it'll put groups together. It can randomly call
So
the
it puts
kids
their
for
monsters
you.
up with other monsters.
Yeah,
it's-
and
And I
that's your
know,
group.
like in SSI, we give out Falcon Bucks all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they said they can cash in
They
their
can
Falcon
cash their
Bucks
Falcon-
for dojo points.
That's what we did because
Yeah.
they were
Because they're not
getting.
motivated by Falcon Bucks otherwise.
But
We're-
now
yeah.
they
So what do
are.
they get to do with their dojo points?
They can do like they can buy movie lunches
Mhm.
for 75
Oh, so it's
points.
rewards that you
It's
set up.
rewards that we set up.
So it's not anything online, like like Think Through Math. They
No.
could
Donate.
donate.
I've set up movie lunches for 75 points. For 100, you can be the VIP for the week. That's where all those balloons are, and you sit at the special desk. And
The only thing I haven't figured out is how to see how many points she has. It doesn't tell me. It
and
just
you know
tells
what?
me
I
daily.
can't figure that out either.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out how.
So you have to get onto your teacher account to see how many points they've earned?
Yeah, like I can see it now.
So the
Like, I
kid can
show
see,
you.
right? The kid can see how many points they're at.
Riley can't see on my app how many points she has.
But she can
She's
see
in
on
third
her app.
hour.
Only
No.
And parents can send me messages. It'll notify me when a parent, like, see, Riley's mom just liked my photo. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And they can send you messages. I've had a parent send me a message to tell me that why their kid wasn't there today.
Instead of an email?
Well, here's the thing: there's certain parents that, like Sheldon's parents, have really connected to this for some reason.
Wow.
It's the only way
Because
we
they didn't
can.
return
They don't return emails. They don't return
Oh,
phone
can you
calls.
set up my phone before meeting then?
Really, but they will instantly respond when you message them on Class Dojo.
That's actually
Maybe because the
really good idea.
notification is turned
Yeah.
on.
Maybe so. And Sheldon will tell you, if my dad says if I get certain amount of dojo points this week, I get to do this.
So they're using it at home.
They're using
too.
it at home too.
Wow.
That's good.
So yeah, see, there's all my kids, and you can see their points.
You can see how many points they
Yeah,
have. so
and they see it on the board. When
This
I
is
have
your
one.
homeroom.
Oh,
Huh.
go to third hour. It should be.
Oh, it is third hour.
Is it? But you just set
Wow,
up
Riley needs
different.
to get on it.
Well, she probably
No,
did.
I'm
She
just
buy
kidding.
something?
She's at
I'm
the
not-
top.
Oh,
She's
okay.
at
I was about to
23.
say. She
So
might-
when they buy something, you just take it out of their dojo points.
I take it out. I actually write them a certificate because I really want them to see the value of
Wow, Logan's
you
the
have
only one
earned
who's
something.
won
You're
it.
going to buy it.
Where's Brooke?
And then you're going to give me. So I write them a certificate for whatever they bought. And then, like today, I had a video lunch. They all had their certificates, and they had to give them to me when they
Had
came
to
in the
pay,
video lunch.
right.
They had to
Oh,
pay.
the monsters.
Are they cute?
They are cute.
So, but how do
And
they?
there's a whole Class Dojo community. Like, I'm a part of a Facebook group. I mean, like, if you hashed
How did
Google
y'all
Class
find it?
Dojo, I don't remember.
It was all over Pinterest for a while.
Yeah, it might have been it.
Okay, so how do you,
What's the app look like?
Kid Joe has
The outside.
100 points, so how do you keep track that he's used 100?
There's a spot, so let's say he has 100 points and he says, Miss Miller, I want to buy a movie lunch with a friend. I go to reset bubbles. I take him, it'll reset it to 0. And then I've gone on and I've added, I think it's called point balance reset. Basically, I go back and give them the change. Like,
Okay,
so
gotcha.
I go back and I give them 25 points.
The only thing is, I just don't know with first grade, like,
But you,
I don't see that they
I don't see
would
so much
the
all of
buying
that,
that, but you the
just to
instant
keep track of
the instant class management part where you can give them because doesn't
Can
it
you-
ding or something?
can
And
you
I'll
pull it up on the smart board?
Yes,
on the
yes,
website?
yes,
So you
that's
can
what she's
pull
talking
it
Oh,
up
I
and
pulled
then
up and then
you
they
see
go
their
and they give their
monsters.
But
points.
what is more instant gratification or tangible than actually handing them
Those little
a
pennies.
penny?
Okay, but they like in Wix's class, she has one little container. Is it each kid has their own container?
Each of my kids have their own piggy bank.
Oh, okay.
It's we call it a piggy bank, and that's
Right.
where they keep track of their money. And then when we cash, the hard part is cashing them in.
Yeah.
But the reason why we do pennies instead of Falcon Bucks or Dojo points is because we're trying to spiral the concept of counting money.
Got it.
So do you?
Well, then do a store, do a dojo store, where they have to take their points and transfer it into money.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest, everything
Well,
that's
1 point is 1 penny.
everything that's out there for dojo, to be honest, is geared towards younger kids. Like, we really had to work it for the older, to make it for the older kids. Because if you go on like Teacher Pay Teacher or Instagram Class Dojo, most of them are for like self-contained classrooms. I mean, some of them do something even as like, you know, once you hit 10 points, they have a Class Dojo mascot, a little monster. He gets to sit on your desk. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, you
just
could do
some-
those little warm and fuzzies, those little
Yeah,
pom-pom
yeah,
balls. Those would be
yeah.
cute.
We're gonna. I mean, we're for sure try. I'm sorry, it's not in my eye. We're for sure gonna try it next semester. We'll see how it goes.
I don't think you need to go super far into like the
decorating your monster and all that.
yeah.
They don't have phones.
I think you just assign
Riley, they
them.
don't either. Riley, they have to get on.
They have to log on, and they have a code that they, and the
That's
kids
cool.
can't change, the kids can't change their monsters until their parents have signed up. So it's more, it's
Ah.
another motivating tool
To
to
get
get
their
parents to
parents
sign up. Because the kids
communicate.
wanna
Oh,
change,
yeah.
the kids wanna change their monster, and I told them, they're like, I can't, I'm like, your mom's gotta sign up. When your mom or dad signs up, then it'll let you, that's not even my role, that's Class Dojo. Like,
So would you say half your parents?
No, 80% of one class.
80, in my first hour, I have 60%, that's my inclusion hour, that's no big surprise. That's,
Go.
my second hour is 80%. My third hour, I have 75%.
That's like all but 4 kids.
And then my fourth hour, I have 68%.
That's really good.
That is
Yeah.
That's a lot
way
more
better
than
than I
you
have
That's a
on
lot
Twitter.
more than Twitter.
I have like 12 parent followers
Yeah.
I think, on Twitter.
I mean, and if I want, like, if I wanted to right now, I could, you know, send a parent a message and they
An
get it
average of
instantly.
70%, but when you take all of them together, pretty close to.
And you can do story, like we could do
Oh, I have 36 followers.
a
Let's see how
school, you have your class stories, you can also do, school stories. Same, basically, a school, like a school Instagram or a school
Yeah.
Twitter.
Okay, of my 36 followers on Twitter, 5 of them are parents and 3 of them are last year's parents.
Now, Class Dojo, do you post like current happenings and like, kind of like we do
You
with Twitter,
can,
those
I
kind of
don't
things?
always,
Okay.
but you can.
This one's not even a parent.
You can, I don't, I mean, I don't. I really just try to use it to keep the kids, you know, motivated
Reward
and
purposes.
reward them and,
Okay.
and they spend their points. I mean,
It's a
like,
really good tracking system.
yeah, yeah,
Without having to be something that they have to keep up with, like Falcon Bucks or whatever.
yeah, it's all in the computer. So, and then
Have
when I
their own
do,
credit card.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
And their points
and
are
I
on the
make them
card.
follow, like when they sign up for movie lunch, it's not, oh, I want to do a movie lunch tomorrow. It's, I have sign up sheets with days and only 6 spots, and you have to sign up and you have to show up or you lose your spot and you have to have your certificate, like, you know, trying to make them somewhat responsible.
But that's why I'm not motivated to tweet 3 or 4 times a week, because
people
I
aren't
have
looking at
2
it.
parents this year following me. I have 5 total.
I don't know if the retweets, you know, when they retweet it on the website, if that
Yeah.
helps, if more people look at the website, I don't know what the,
More people might just follow Story Falcons
Yeah.
Probably.
and not
And so
necessarily.
then when they retweet, they'll see your stuff.
Did you send anything out at the beginning of the year saying, follow me?
On an email, because it's at the bottom, it's on
Yeah,
my
it's on the-
signature.
But, I mean, other than it being attached to your signature, but like
Yeah, we did.
specifically?
Yeah, we did too in our newsletter, we constantly are sending it.
Yeah.
Follow us on, I think it's on the end of my email too.
Yeah, that was required.
That was it, okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
Mine's
Mine's in rainbow colors.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, I know.
Because you skipped first grade.
Everything's rainbow.
Did you get that Santa Cam ornament?
I did not, but my elf arrives December 1st.
Do you know what though? I have a silhouette. I can make you a Santa Cam.
Just put it
Give me an ornament.
You take a glass ornament, or wait, was this an ornament or that I
It
sent
looks like
you?
a necklace.
This was a necklace, but you can also do an ornament.
I've seen that ornament.
I've seen the ornament, it's like a clear ornament instead of vinyl, it just says like Santa Cam.
But like it's got the
Did
dot.
I send that to you in an email or?
You
did I-
text, I think you Pinterest
I
sent
send
it to
you
me or
stuff
something.
all the time.
I told them their ice station scores though go to Santa, and so they need to, cause they'll just click. They don't want to do it anymore, so they'll just start clicking. So like I have tier 1 kids who are like scoring tier 3 because they're just clicking things, and well those go straight to Santa, so he knows if you're not.
See, I'm scared to do, which I can't do anything this year because I have a Jehovah's Witness in my class, but I'm scared to do an elf or talk Santa at school because 3rd grade is the year that kids start saying, well, that's not real. You know what I mean?
I have an elf
I
on the
have
shelf
one
in
that-
SSI and all of them
I
like
told my
it.
kids to write letters to Santa.
Except for
and I
maybe
take it
5th
to
and
them.
6th, they don't really say
Some of them
anything.
laughed at me. I
Well,
said,
and some of them will, but it's the ones who pop off. and
3rd
are
Yeah.
and 4th is about when
She
they
has one.
start to
I have
figure
one
it out.
that does not believe, but
my
we're just gonna
graders
say,
still-
well,
Some
our house.
She is
People who
still
don't believe
very
don't
much
get
into
it.
Riley
it.
found out in 2nd grade when our pastor's daughter, she went to church telling him about the elf that came to our house.
I worried about her.
That's not real stuff. My dad's Santa Claus. Our pastor's daughter. And I had to go to him and say, hey, you just might want to let her know that she doesn't tell other people. She can believe what she wants, but she just ruined it for my kid.
Yeah, I followed a teacher.
Well, I told her
know.
to tell her class, that's okay if he says that because you know what? If you don't believe that Santa's real, then Santa won't be real, and that's part of his magic.
There's a teacher I follow on Instagram, and there's a really nice letter that she wrote that she said she sends every December, basically telling parents, look, if your kid doesn't believe, that's fine, and, you know, if you could just, and talk to them and encourage them not to ruin the spirit of Christmas for some
They're
who
little
do.
kids.
I thought that was a really good idea, to send that home.
And you're gonna get somebody with a letter that says the true meaning of Christmas is not even.
Me and Jesus are
So
good.
don't talk.
We're talking about
Don't
me
talk
and
to me about
Santa.
Jesus.
We're talking about me and Santa, but, yeah. But I've just been telling my kids, you know, like I feel like they're kind of at that age where some of them still do, some of them obviously, a lot of them obviously don't, but I'm trying to spin it like, even if you don't, like, it's cool to play like you do, you
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
I started
That's what I told her.
I did the hashtag
You're gonna
like
get
I
socks
believe.
and underwear if
Yeah.
you don't believe.
Like, it's fun. It's
fun,
fun
though,
to
like,
like
the more-
pretend.
The more
Cool
they
thing
get
that's
into
ridiculous
it,
that
the more
I
fun they'll
started
have.
doing the elf because Riley found out the year that started.
Right.
That's how she found out because one of her friends, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Colin,
well, that's the year I started it when Colin was baby. So that's what I told Cole this year. I said, you can think it's dumb if you want.
Right.
And I said, but this is going to be a tradition for Colin because we started it the year he was born.
Right, and we're gonna
And
keep
you and
going.
Riley, which Riley still wants to find in the morning, and tomorrow is bringing donuts for breakfast. But
If I remember to move mine
and he has Christmas.
mine say the night in the
He
fridge.
has Santa Edmund. Oh, I hung last year. I hung mine out of the ice dispenser.
Well, no, he was hanging from the ceiling fan, and Darren walked by and grazed him, and Jack was like, "Oh my God, you touched him!" And okay, so we're gonna conclude by doing a little feedback survey. If you guys will answer the questions, put in your thoughts about how this went and any suggestions for moving forward. Okay, this is my post reflection. The questions that we went over during our focus group, our general topic was social media in the classroom. Our first question was, what is keeping you from successfully using social media in your classroom? The committee or the group felt that they did not like Twitter, and from that, my next question was, is it that you dislike the format, that it's Twitter is the program, or is it that you're being required to do a certain amount of tweeting? I also asked about their safety and privacy concerns with using social media in the classroom. And then we discussed alternatives to what we are currently using on our campus. So they decided that they felt like Twitter was not as safe as the other alternatives such as Facebook or Instagram. Instagram in particular seemed to be something that they all really liked. So first of all, what was keeping them from being successful in using Twitter was that they felt like that they weren't familiar with, or it wasn't comfortable. It's not a comfortable format for them to use. Their thoughts were either you are a Facebook, Instagram kind of person versus a Twitter person. And we talked about, using Twitter. It's very, it's the least, I guess, inclusive of being social relationships of social media. So they feel like it's just more for, like snippets of news and things like that would be Twitter, but they felt like they have more to share than what Twitter really allows. We also talked about using the format is what they disliked the most, not necessarily that they were being required to tweet a certain amount of times. They said that they would prefer Instagram in particular because it does not limit the number of characters that you can type in each post. They also liked that you can decline or block followers because in their Twitter accounts, they feel like there's not very many parents that are actually following their class, and the parents that are following some of them are from previous years, and they don't really have control over who follows them. Whereas in an Instagram account, they can approve or decline someone to follow them, and then also they wouldn't have to make school accounts and have it separate from a personal account. If we made one school account, then they could use their personal account to tweet and then or send it to the person that handles the school account, and that person could send that out. And so all the parents wouldn't have to follow individual teachers. They could just follow that one account. Versus Twitter, I'm sorry, where each person has to create their own account and has to get parents or whoever to follow them in addition to whatever other social media that they also use. One of the other things that kind of sprouted up when we were talking about alternatives, let me back up to safety. They felt like the safety of, that's with the followers, being able to make sure that who is viewing these posts that they're making are actual parents. One of the things they thought they liked about Facebook was that people tend to use their actual names instead of handles that they do use on Twitter. So, Ladybug14, do I know if that's Joe's mom or not? I don't know. But on Facebook, they generally put their real name. In discussing alternatives, like I said, they really seem to like Instagram, but they also brought up another one that's not really what I would consider mainstream social media. It is Class Dojo, and it's not something that just everybody can join and see. It's where a teacher sets up an account, and then each kid has an avatar, and she can assign points as class rewards and things like that. But there's also an additional feature that you can invite a parent to join, and they have to have a code specific to their child to be able to create their account. And once they do, they can actually receive and send messages back and forth with the teacher. They cannot message other students. Students can't message between each other. And the reason why they have been so much more successful in getting parents to participate is that in order for a student to be able to go in and change their avatar to something that they want to personalize it as, the parent has to first set up an account and log in before the child is actually able to manipulate their avatar. So I think that's a highly motivating factor for students to then be persistent with parents to set up an account. And one of the teachers actually said that it's been so successful because she had one parent that has a reputation of being very difficult to get a hold of, and doesn't often reply to phone calls or emails, but for some reason has latched on to Class Dojo, and if you want to get a hold of them, you have to message them through Class Dojo, which I thought was kind of funny. The agenda was followed. I think the objectives of our meeting were met. The purpose was to provide feedback to our administration on what's working and what's not on using the technology, specifically the social media, in our classrooms. The survey, in their feedback to me on the survey, they felt like their time was valued. They were able to step away if they needed to. I know that one of them had a child at home and had to step away to take a call, which was fine. I felt like we had effective communication and collaboration and listening to each other's ideas. I felt like everyone was comfortable with everyone else, and that they were not intimidated to share their thoughts on anything. And I felt like that contributed to us having a really good, thoughtful discussion. we did veer from the topic a couple of times just because, we would talk about something that would spur another thought. And so that was a difficult thing for me as far as keeping the group focused, even though it's a focus group, on strictly what we're talking about. So I feel like that is something that I definitely need to work on. I think this experience has helped me to kind of see myself in a different light, rewatching my video to see that where I could have jumped in and steered the conversation a little bit better to keep us on topic and hitting the points that we were supposed to hit. I do feel like we did get there, but it maybe not as a direct route as we could have taken. But on the flip side of that, I felt like it was very relaxed and we all enjoyed ourselves in having good conversations. So as far as meeting, getting out of it what we wanted to, I think the information that we pulled out and the conversations that we had and questions that spurred, from our talk was really interesting and, thought provoking on several different things. So, and I think my administration actually was very pleased with what came out of it. They were surprised because they didn't realize that people did not like Twitter, and they thought people just weren't using it, that they didn't like to be required, but they didn't realize or ever stop to consider that maybe it's actually that social media platform that is keeping our teachers from being more successful at sharing with parents and our community what's going on in the classrooms. So I think that it went well.